The Ron G Morning Show, every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. only on WSAN Radio, the soul of America. All right. Good morning. And how you doing this morning?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. And yourself? How you doing this morning?
Bliss, bliss.
Oh man, I like that. I like that. Everybody's here this morning. So she got a hold of me. I could have sworn she threw a rock at me because it hit the window so hard, like, where you been? And I'm saying, I've been here. I've been here. But the last time we talked, you were talking about getting this project started. And you said you got to get your 501c3 and all that stuff. Then you called me with exciting news saying, I got it.
Yep.
So, what was the struggle in getting the 501c3?
Being honest, it was getting the money for it and having the confidence to feel like we could do the paperwork ourselves. And we did. We fundraised to be able to get the money, to donations, and we were able to get the money for it, and we processed the paperwork ourselves. So that was really the biggest thing, having Mr. Carter over here pushing me to be like, hey, you got it, you can do it, we can do this ourselves. We don't have to pay
Yeah,
nobody $300 or $500 to file the paperwork. So
yeah.
that was the biggest challenge.
Isn't that something? Well, when I did mine, a friend of mine said she knew a lawyer. So I got a hold of him. He had all the paperwork. Well, 9 months went by. And finally, the friend called me back up and said, Hey, Ron. I said, I haven't heard from him yet. So
Mhm.
2 days later, he called me and apologized. I said, Ron, I am so sorry. I dropped the ball on this one. I really apologize. But this is the good news and good news. I never heard good news and good news from a lawyer. He said, the good news is I filed everything for you. You should be getting it in the mail in another week. The other good news is I'm not charging you anything because I dropped the ball on it. And I said, bless you. I said, all right, I was ready to go. So I know the struggles in getting it, but now that you have it, um, one thing I know for what I've been doing for the past years is filling out a postcard deal for that. You know, for filing for taxes, the IRS, it's a in something form. I just go online and I click, 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 done. As long as it depends on the money that you make, but you know, you talk to somebody about that. Can you turn? Yes. There you go.
I have to take off.
Adjusting the mic. Oh, that's all
Breaking the
right.
mic.
That's all right. Oh, we're having fun in the studio this morning.
It's always a good time when I'm in here. You know this. Backward.
I know it's backwards.
Very much so.
Just try
I'll
to turn
hold
this.
it.
Okay. All right. So you got that out of the way. So, what inspired you finding Ladies in Sync, and what core values guides the organization today?
So, as I said in our last interview, the biggest thing was life threw a bunch of curveballs, and I was put in certain situations that made me realize that as women, we don't stick together enough, and we need to come together a lot more. So that became like my driving force, and I wanted to create a safe space for all women, all races, all sexualities to be able to have that safe space. The biggest core value is just creating, I can't say it enough, but just that safe space, but also privacy. I want to
Yes.
make sure within our group that everything that we're talking about is secure, it's safe. So privacy will be the core value. I think one of the most important core values right now.
Oh, wow. How does in Lady in Sync defines empowerment for women it serves?
Oh, that's a good question. What would you say?
I'll say the empowerment comes from resources. The more resources you have, the more powerful you can be. And a lot of times we
Yeah.
feel helpless when we don't have any resources. So if Ladies in Sync can bring about more resources, we can make women as a whole more powerful.
Yeah.
I like that because we're in that time right now, the way the economy is, the direction the country is going, and speaking about being empowered, women being empowered, we know that something was passed by Congress, was a law that passed. Your name has to be the same last name in order for you to vote. Well, when you get married, the women name change.
Mhm.
And so, and I wonder, Chip Roy of Texas proposed that and it passed. Now I wonder if he know that his wife last name is Roy now. Well, before it wasn't Roy, what was it? Is she able to vote? Do they think this through? It seemed like they're trying to silence the women.
Hmm.
And like we're going back in the fifth, we're going backwards and not forwards.
Yep.
So on that note, empowering the women, I think, will cover voting and election time. That's where the power comes in for the women. Because if you look at it, if the stats are right, that women outnumber the men almost 10-1 in the United States.
Absolutely.
So if they ever got together and really voted as a power, we will have our first woman president. We will have all that. So
It's about letting them know too, we have a voice and our voice matters.
mm,
So it's like going way, way back, we know, like in history, men did everything. Women, we had to fight for our rights. All it wasn't until what 1950s or a little after that when we had a chance to be able to work. Like so, I think we are still stuck in those times, even in like employments and jobs. Like,
mhm.
I could be the most well knowledgeable, know more than the man next to me. He's gonna get the raise. He's gonna get the praise.
And it's equal pay.
Yep.
If you know more, you should be getting paid more.
Yep.
That has been around for so long. It's just sickening to hear that.
Yep. And I don't
You
think
know,
it should be that way based on male or female. Like let's make it equal across the board. If the qualifications line up, then why can't my paycheck line up too?
ooh, I like that. I'll give you a raise if nobody else will. Can you tell us about the type of workshops and events you host, both virtually and in person?
So each month, so we just started doing in-person events here in San Antonio. We did our first one in January. It was a vision board event. February, we didn't do anything in the community. Within my group, there were a few ladies that actually live here. We went bowling in February. March, we hosted a yoga event. Big shout out to Georgia from Atlanta. She flew out and she did a yoga class for us. And then as of April, we did a candle making tea party. Big shout out to Paul at Bel Wine and Candles. Amazing, amazing experience. So that was this month. Next month, we are having an Uno tournament. So that is probably going to be one of our biggest events so far this year for Uno. So we're trying to get food truck vendors, people who may sell merchandise, whatever they sell, it's a small vending fee for that, but it's open to the public. We would love, so if anybody listening that's in San Antonio that would love to come out and support and bring out bouncy houses, your food truck, part of what Ladies in Sync do as well, we like to bring attention to businesses because how do we get ahead? Supporting other businesses, and we're really big on supporting those who support us. So all the businesses, please come out and support. We're trying to make it a really, really big event. So that's our next one.
Now, see, I got you already on there posting your Uno tournament. So I looked at it. I said, now, how do you do a Uno tournament? What are the rules? What are the regulations? Can you cheat? All that went through my head, so I had to break out my Uno cards to find out. So basically, how you gonna set that up? As a tournament or what?
Yeah, so we're gonna do a tournament. We're gonna do like a bracket style, double elimination. So we have solo players will be in one tournament, and then you can have teams. So you and your partner will be in the other side of the tournament, and we have rules because Uno has official rules. And they actually have their own major tournament. It's not held in this side of the United States, but they have their own. So we're gonna get referees, and we're gonna go over the rules. And then as a solo, if you make it all the way, you're gonna get a trophy. We're thinking about doing a cash payout as well to bring more awareness to the of events and future stuff. But yeah, we can do solo and we're gonna do teams. I'm gonna have referees there as well. So no, you cannot cheat.
Okay.
But the main focus is for people to come there and have a good time. You know, win if you can win, but ultimately have a good time, clear your mind. Whatever happened last week don't matter right now today. It's about having fun and let's come together and play Uno. We have other board games. The space itself, we have a bowling alley. So let's say you waiting, you know, you can get to play bowling. We have like other games like Connect Four and Mystery and some other stuff going on. So it'd be a little mix of everything for everybody.
Wow, so where's it gonna be held at?
Second Baptist Church.
That's right, they do have a bowling alley in there.
Yeah.
They sure do. I forgot about that. Now I'm just when she called and I talked to her and everything, I had already obligated for something on 31st already. So I'm gonna miss out on this one, but not the other ones. You let me know ahead of time.
So we're planning a back to school event. So we haven't gotten all the details together for that one, but we're gonna do something for back to school.
Yeah.
Well, let me know what dates I put on my calendar.
I will after the interview. I'll give you the dates for it.
Oh, look at this. See,
Yeah.
she came prepared, y'all. She's
Yeah.
ready. Have your program involved to meet the needs of women in San Antonio over time?
Yes. So one of the before we ever got a 501(c), one of the first I don't want to say project, but one of the first women we helped was here in San Antonio. She needed she couldn't afford to have like basic essential needs. So it was us and we have our executive admin. We all came together and out of our own pockets because we still don't have funding and we didn't have funding then, but we got her like meats that she needed. She needed like toothpaste, toothbrushes, deodorant. Her child needed pull-ups, so we came together and just provide all those things to her. So little by little we are helping the community where we can.
Man, I like the ladies in sync. Let's get back to that. Where did that come from, lady in sync? I know singing together, I know the word sync and all that stuff, but how'd you come about the name?
Doing a lot of extensive research on the internet, if I'm being very honest. So plugging in like my goal, my mission, and just putting words together, and then it came like first originally, and I still wanted to be women in sync, and because it just sounds so much better. But ladies, like you said, it was about being together. So I was like, you know what, we'll do, if I couldn't do women, we're gonna do ladies. So ladies in sync, it's about us syncing together, being one. And then when I did further research, quite often for all the ladies that may be listening or watching, they say when you're around enough women or certain women long enough, your cycles sync together. So that was another part, is like I want us to be maybe not to that extent, but just for us to be synced and locked in and supported just together and not against one another.
So you try and use that telepathy, huh? I'm thinking right now. I said no, because somebody asked me one day. We was watching that one movie. I think the Mel Gibson was in it. He could hear what women are thinking.
Oh, I seen that movie.
I would never want that power.
Never.
I would never want that
I seen
power.
that movie.
I will shoot myself. There's no way, because I'll leave that alone because I'll get in trouble. I'll get in trouble. So let me jump to the next question. Are there mentorships or leadership development opportunities available through Ladies in Sync?
In the long run, absolutely. Right now, we're still on the ground trying to get off the ground and get up. We need more funding, but absolutely, my long-term goal, I want a facility. I want to be able to have a facility where there's an on-site daycare center for my employees. I want to be able to have a space, a resource center. So women and their families may need to come in and look for a job, or they need help with resume. I want to have all those services there. I want to be able to have a space to hold my in-person meetings, because I remember last time I was telling you we were meeting weekly when I last saw you. Now we're meeting bi-weekly virtually. So I want to be able to have a space for the women that are here in San Antonio, but also still have a space to be able to record virtually too. For everyone on the East Coast.
East Coast in the house. Okay, let's talk about community engagement. because I know that's what y'all about the community. In what
Yes.
ways does Lady in Sync collaborate with other local organizations or businesses?
So I can give you an example. The vision board event, we partner with a Queen's Beauty Touch bar. The owner is Jasmine, so we worked with her to be able to promote not only her business, but we were able to hold the event at her business as well. So we're always looking to partner with people in the community to bring awareness to what we do and to also bring awareness to what they may do as well. Again, we're still in the beginning stages, but it's definitely one of the things that we want to do. Get out in the community, absolutely, a lot
Mm.
more.
I feel you on that one because I'm out there all the time. Every time I go, you here again? I said, what you mean? Everywhere I go, you
Yep.
there. I said, well, that's part of it.
Yeah,
That's part of it. We're gonna collaborate together too. So
I'm ready.
I see that coming. I'll do whatever I can to
Why we do that back to school?
I have no problem with that.
See?
I have no problem with that. You know, yes. Like my grandkids say, yes. I said, what is yes? There's no T in yes. Okay, see.
We're gonna also hold a basketball tournament as well for the
Okay.
youth. So, because we're trying to all proceeds from any event that we do or anything in the community, it all goes to be able to do more community events and also to be able to help more women and families too.
So, what is it about women that some just can't get along, but yet, but when there's a common goal, the ones don't get along, they seem to all come together. How come we can't keep that going, them coming together? Because you know that my mom told me one thing about women. I just looked at her and said, you kidding. I'm not gonna say it on there because y'all liable to call and shoot me. But what is it? How can you bring them together, ladies in sync? How can you sync them to one common denominator?
Purpose, for one, I think for me, just speaking for me as a woman, if you got a good purpose, then I can stand behind it. I don't have to like everybody around me, but if it's a good purpose, if it's meaningful, then most of us we can come together to be able to meet that goal. Then, you have on the other side, social media is starting to influence so much.
Yes, it is.
It's cute or it looks good to be against the next, and then it's not even just women, the next person. So I think we have to start putting more positivity also on social media too. But also show that hey, you can still have conflict with someone and it can still be resolved, not ending in violence or things being said over social media shouldn't be said.
Yeah.
So I think just bringing us all together for a purpose and it meaning something more times than none and helping you just have other situations where it don't at all. So I mean it's a 50-50 chance. But for me it's just having a purpose and knowing that it means something. I can stand behind it.
You're right because I may not like you personally, but business wise, oh, we're a good fit.
Yep.
And sometimes the opposite attracts. It's better that way. But and you brought up something. Negativity is sold to the highest bidder.
Yep.
People, when you bring up something positive, it's way down here.
Yep.
But something negative, oh yeah, it's up in the limelight. Nothing. That's what I don't like about our local media here, the TV stations. It's only on Sundays when they give the good stuff what's going on. It's like Monday through Saturday, it's all negativity. But Sunday, they bring out the good humor stories. There's a good humor story every day.
Yes, sir.
Every day, but we dwell on the negative because that's what sells.
And it's funny you say that because every week you can ask the ladies in our group who we meet with it biweekly. I tell them, okay, we do a mental health check-in, like, okay, where are you mentally, right? So, you have your highs and your lows, but then I followed up with, okay, tell me a win. Because my thing is, we may go through the darkest moments of our lives,
Right.
but there's a win, there's something positive that has happened while you're in that dark moment, and you may not see it. So some of them I'm really close with, and they'll say something like, you're forgetting something. What about this? Because we need to bring more light to the positivity versus feeding the negativity.
Yeah.
And to go back to the like getting the ladies sync together. Me personally, I noticed that whenever you feel like you don't have enough, that's when you start getting that conflict. If I feel like you got more than me, I need to figure out a way to get what you got. And how do you normally do that? I gotta do something bad. You know what I mean? Like I've already feel like I've been working hard. I'm still not ahead of you. Okay, now I gotta do something else. But what if I told you, hey, you don't have to do that. We have enough for you, and you. All you gotta do is get together. It's here.
Yeah.
It's here. We'll make sure you get whatever you need.
Well,
But
better
both of you will get
numbers.
that.
Yeah.
That is why a lot of not even women, but just in general humans, bro. Whenever we feel like I'm about to go without, you tend to do something you normally wouldn't do. You cause conflict that's undue. What if I told you you don't have to? Just like whenever it's a storm coming, what's the first thing everybody run to do? All the tissue, all the water. They buy everything. What if I told you y'all didn't have to do that? We got all the water and toiletries for everybody, right? Then you'll see people they will stop doing that. Just like with conflict in business, you want to get ahead, you want to do stuff for your business, but I got that market sold up. Well, you try to do something behind my back or whatever. What if I told you, hey, the market big enough for both of us? I can promote you too. So that's how we get them synced up and we can stop so much conflict. There's enough room for everybody.
And we always say it's a piece of the pie for everybody
Yeah.
out there to make a difference. And the point that you made that and which is true, because they'll see you making more than they are, or then they get upset for what you're doing.
Yep.
The best way to do is come around, hey man, how'd you get that going? How'd you do this? We could collaborate together.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
but that's just it. Everybody's me, 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 me. I remember I interviewed this politician and she said it so well. She said, it's not a me thing, it's a we thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuck with me. That I don't know how I remember that, but that stuck with me. And she's right. It's a we thing. Like anybody know me, I never said, I got this my radio station. I never said it's my radio. This is y'all radio station. I'm just sitting here where God put me here to do things. This is y'all radio station. I never go out and brag about anything. And that's one thing right there. People will go out there and brag about what they got. Then they turn around 2 years later, don't have a pot to piss in. I'm sorry for saying that, y'all, but they don't have that. They can't understand. Well, what happened?
Yep.
Your head got too big.
Yeah, you didn't share.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's a valid
Wow.
point. Valid point.
Oh, here we go. I got something good for you right now. She you see how she did. Oh, here he goes. In what ways does Lady in Sync collaborate with other? Oh, we said that already. Okay. What impact has the organization had on community so far? And can you share a success story?
Let's see. Shared one about the young lady we helped with last year. I'm trying to think what else have we done. There has been women inside our group who have went through really, really dark places. And let's be clear, y'all, everything that we do won't be financial. It won't be giving money because sometimes people don't need the money. They need a place to be heard and seen. So we actually had a very, very interesting moment in our group where we talked about surviving. And I can't disclose everything that was said because of the confidentiality agreement that we have. But I think one of the biggest things that we did in that moment was open people to let them know that this is a safe space. So you start hearing stories that people never shared, women never shared. You hear stories about where people didn't think they were going to get out of certain places, but they did. So for me, that is impacting a community. That's impacting the community, a community. And there's a difference. Other things we have done, we actually had a lady in Atlanta contact us. She needed food, furniture. She had like 2, 3 kids. They didn't have anything. So I immediately started reaching out to everybody over in Atlanta, like, hey, does anybody have this? Anybody have that? We actually had someone that was like, hey, I have a couch. All she has to do is pick it up. So it's a small thing, right? But it's still something big to somebody that has nothing.
Yeah.
So, and what surprised me about that, Ron, was the fact that somebody reached out to Ladies in Sync. It's based in San Antonio. It's based in San Antonio. It was started in San Antonio. Now, granted, we're from Georgia, and I'm like, I asked her once we finished, like, how did you find us? She was like, oh, I just went to Google and I typed in women nonprofit.
That's success right there.
Yes.
I was like, wow, I didn't think anybody from Atlanta would be calling me, but she did. So that would be my answer to that.
Boy.
It's a bunch of success. All that stuff is a success story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If one person reach out, that we were successful because that was the goal that you set out. So you reach out, you wanted
Yeah.
people to reach out to you for help, and every time somebody do that, that's success.
Yeah.
When I was teaching, I was always told, an old school teacher told me, if you reach one student, you did your job.
Yep.
You reached just one. So that one that reached out to you, imagine the other ones out there that's waiting in line.
Yep.
Your blessings are coming. Your blessings are coming. I tell you that. All right, here we go. Ready?
That's a good one.
Do I need a drum roll for this one? What is the process of becoming a member or a volunteer with Lady in Sync? That's a good
That is a good one.
one.
So speaking of volunteers, when everything goes well, we will need volunteers for this Uno event for sure. So we'll be looking for volunteers for that. The process for that, if I'm being honest, we're still working on that because again, we want to make sure that certain things are in place because children will be there, families will be there. So we got to figure out what our process look like for that. However, to become a member of Ladies in Sync, there is a process. We do a vetting process, and that process includes having a conversation with me. I'm asking a few questions because again, we have to be a fit for you, and you have to be a fit for us. So there's that process. Upon that process, let's say, it sounds like we're a good fit for you, then and you're a good fit for us, then we do what is called a new member orientation. Now, in this second process, this allows you to still say, hey, this is not for me, but in that orientation, we go through everything, the do's and the don'ts, what we require within that. We talk about the confidentiality agreement and the importance of it, because in order to be, so we have our group of us ladies that meet biweekly. That is where the confidentiality agreement comes in, and that is how you're like, okay, you're a member. We are working, however, on and it's still in works. We're trying to see how we want to go about it, where you can still be a member of Ladies in Sync, but you don't have to attend like our meetings or you know what I'm saying? Okay. You want to explain further? Like, you don't have to attend our meetings, but you're a member. So you might be a silent member. You may be a member that only comes out and volunteer at our events.
Okay.
Again, still working through that.
Yeah, because we notice like everyone doesn't need the same kind of help. Everyone doesn't need the same kind of mentoring. Everybody doesn't need the same kind of mental stimulation. So like right now for us talking, going through it, this could be helping me mentally, right? But she might be like, I need this, I need something else. Well, you could be a member and let's say you just want to come to certain events. Okay, well you can help in that kind of way. Everybody don't need to sit down and talk in a circle, right? Some women need to be in a soundproof room and just scream. Okay, well we gonna have it. We having this event, da da da. I would love to volunteer to, you know what I mean? Or we're gonna, some women they wanna box, maybe they wanna box, they wanna punch something. Hey, we'll host a boxing class. You might be one of the members like, hey, I would love to volunteer to come help out with that and stuff like that. So we wanted to be where you don't have to be like hands on for everything because it's some stuff will be for you, some stuff won't. So you get in where you fit in, basically.
Yeah.
And then for our volunteering, I'm pretty sure we're gonna come out like with a form where you sign up and stuff.
Right.
We want a network of volunteers with areas of expertise. So we're
Good
having
one.
a back to school drive, and you work at a Target or HEB or something. You can tell us, hey, my manager is such and such. They handle the donation forms. Hey, you give me a form, I can give it to my manager. We want people who can do stuff like that, and we want people who can obviously come with us in the community and help spread awareness and help us get our name out there as well.
Oh man, I agree with you. Self apart by box. I'm not getting ring with a woman that's got some anger issues. Now. I'm gonna get knocked out. So, where did that come from? But it's an outlet.
Yes,
that energy, it's got to come out. That negative energy, it has to come
gotta
out.
let it go.
Because it's one thing that I do know. Men are hard headed, and there's one part right here. A woman can sit down and they could talk out their issues, cry it out. They're fine. Men, on the other hand, will hold it inside because we are men. We were told to be strong,
Mhm.
and no matter what's going on, but what we're hurting too. But there's no way for us to release it. Women release things out much better than men do. You got something to say?
How you
Let's
know?
see. Huh?
How you know?
It's just the way you did this and stood. I said, she can attack me.
No, because the crazy thing is, I just had this conversation with somebody, and he was saying that uh he was saying pretty much like, hey, as a man, we can't say this or we can't do that, we can't cry. And I'm like, I really dislike the fact that society has told y'all you gotta be hard. You can't cry. And if I cry, it makes me weak.
Mhm.
Or it makes me look a certain type of way. And that's where it's like as women, some women view that as, oh, you weak, or my therapist always say you're a simp, and I'm like, ugh, I don't like that. That is the thought process. So I think again, as women, we gotta create these safe spaces for men as well. Like, hey, it's okay for you to be vulnerable. I mean, it might make you feel weak, or this is that and the third, but to me, I feel like holding it in may also make you weak too.
Well, we had a discussion, a bunch of us men, we sat down and talked, and one man said something that he talked to his wife what was going on and all that, and he just spilled his guts. He said the next time they got into a discussion, which was an argument, I'm gonna use the word discussion, she threw everything
Yep,
at him that he said. Just put him down, and that's why some men
They don't.
are
Yep.
are afraid to be vulnerable because sometimes they use that
Yeah.
against them.
Yep. I think that worked both ways too. I think
Yeah.
that's some people in general.
Mhm.
People open up to you, and the next thing you know, you get into an argument, and that's why you said da da da.
Mhm.
You was over there crying like that. So it's
And they put it out in the streets. Everybody know about it.
and see,
That's why safe space is so important.
Yeah.
Right.
absolutely, I agree with that.
So, second to the last question. She's prepared over. Okay, what kind of support or skills do you look for in volunteers? I think we discussed that already.
Mhm.
To see the question, y'all way ahead of my question. Did y'all see my question?
No.
But you just said that you look for somebody that fit that skill
Mhm.
on what they're doing volunteer. So there's no sense having a baseball player come and talk about math or
Yeah.
something like that. They're not. I'm trying to think of something because
Yeah.
I think my baseball is about math and everything. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You don't want a welder come in talking about cooking.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
would like volunteers that has an area of expertise, that has specific skills. Obviously, the general one stuff would be like be an active listener, how to talk to people, stuff that we all should be able to do at this time and our age. But I also want people with specific skills so that you can lead and you can help and you can push the narrative further along with us. And then if you don't have any, you can still volunteer. We can help you get there, get the
Yeah.
stuff that you need. So. We would like as many volunteers as we can.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily have to be skilled either. I think having like high school students come in to be able to help,
Yeah.
that's good too, because that's teaching them a skill, but also teaching them how to be involved in the community.
Also,
Yeah.
remember we talked about I don't know if they still do this because it's been a while, but you know how people need like community service hours or whatever,
Mhm.
depending on what happened and what's
Yeah.
going on. You come get in, volunteer, and hopefully we can help change your path and guide you somewhere else while you volunteer and help us with the community too.
And that's why having a facility is
Yes,
so
it's a
important.
must.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's about getting that funding though. Getting the funding for
We
it.
try.
Yeah.
So, what are your plans this Saturday?
I have to check my calendar. What are you doing this Saturday?
Why I should look at you like that? She made me that side eye look. Well, I am with the Pan African festival that's going on.
Okay.
It's going on Saturday at the Carver Library, and that's something they do every year. This is the 10th annual one, and they do have vendors there. I think it costs $50 for non-vendor, not food items. But you just come up and just show up and talk to people, and all. It's like a great big networking event. It's from 10:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I'll be out there with my music and interviewing people and all that stuff. So if y'all not busy, I invite y'all to come out there.
Is it too late to pay the vendor fee?
Your vendor fee is $50.
Is it still too late to pay it?
No.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, it's not too late. I once we get off there, I'll give you all the information.
Okay.
And everything. All right, you ready?
The last
The
question.
final question that I know. What are your goals for the next year, and how can community support your mission?
The next year. For the next year, I just want to keep bringing awareness. And this is wishful thinking. I want to at least have a smaller version to the idea of having a space. So maybe not the big overall, but I want to be able to start to have it so we can start being able to house a lot of the things that we're trying to do. We want to have a food pantry. So be able to be, that's what they call it, right? A food pantry.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to have food pantry, like be able to start with helping with resumes, because again, I was a recruiter, also a life coach. So I can start to be able,
The toiletry pantry.
yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that will probably be my goal in a year, but also I just want to keep bringing awareness and staying in the community so people know who Ladies in Sync is. The community I can't even talk. The community can help through sharing our posts on Facebook, sharing our posts on TikTok, Instagram. Wherever you see us at, please share it. The community can also donate, whether it's $1, $2, $3, anything counts, so that we can really start making the impact that we're trying to make. So,
Okay, well, that's good. That's it. That wasn't too bad, wasn't it?
you got anything to add?
Yeah, that's the goal. Me personally, I think from behind the scenes, my main goal is to get funding. We can get, the government or other entities to donate to us, like our ideas can come to life faster.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we know it's out there. We just have to figure out how to get it, because there's other organizations along the same lines that's doing it, but we want to be able to eliminate that long strenuous wait process.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you just got, let's say abusive relationship, you run, you're leaving it behind, you have nothing. Why do you need to wait 6-7 months to get help? You need it now. We want to be able to be instant, and that funding would allow us to be instant. Yeah. Also, like when we do like drives and stuff, if people would donate and stuff like that, that'll help too. So it don't always have to be monetary, but again, like resources, if they can donate their time, or when we do our back to school drive, their time. We want barbers, and we want music, and we want certain stuff. Just donating a resource would go a long way.
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, once we get off air, I got something for y'all. But anyway, introduce yourself again. Let them know how they can get a hold of you.
Hey everyone, my name is Kendra McCoy. I am the founder of Ladies in Sync Incorporated. You can follow me on Facebook at Ladies in Sync Incorporated. My private TikTok is Canon Life Coach. You can also follow us on Instagram at Ladies in Sync 1 as well.
All right. Anything you want to add to that, sir?
Introduce yourself. I know you said Mr. and Mrs. McCoy. You're Carter.
Oh yeah. Okay. My name is Nico Carter, and I'm the voice of reason behind the founder of Ladies in Sync. And if you guys have any questions, you can reach out to her, and I'll see it and I can respond back.
Okay. Boy, this is gonna get better off camera. All right, we appreciate everybody tuning in this morning for Ladies in Sync. And if you have any information, you can contact me, and I'll get a hold of this young lady right here. So other than that, this is Ron G on WSAN Radio. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you for tuning in to WSAN Radio. Catch us on our YouTube channel, WSAN Radio SA. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button.